problem that you have right now, based on the polling that we've seen today. The abortion issue is not sticking to Donald Trump. They do not blame Trump for the overturn of Roe versus Wade, though it's clear in the numbers here. They also believe that Donald Trump will leave things to the states. So they're fine with that. So Donald Trump and his campaign has done a very, very good and effective job of distancing himself from the Roe versus Wade decision and things like the 6-week abortion ban. And Democrats have failed to be able to really tie him to that. I don't see how you change that in the next few months.
And you're right, Jim, that right now people are blaming 6 weeks on Ron DeSantis, but we had to get here to be able to pass it, which means it is Donald Trump. And that's the work that we have to do. But I do believe by the time people get their ballots in the mail, are going to early voting and day of, there will be no doubt who is responsible for the current moment that we are living in. It is the Republicans, it is Donald Trump, it is Ron DeSantis, and it's the Republican legislature.
I'm going to give you one other number when I dig deeper into the poll, and this number actually shocked me. Abortion may impact you or your family directly, right? That was the question. Only 5% of women answered that question yes. Majority say that it's more of about the principle. But I think that what that shows is that there has not been that connection yet where men or women, particularly women, feel that this issue is going to be affecting them personally. Let me just jump in because I should have read this earlier. We do have a statement from Evan Power, your counterpart of the Republican Party of Florida, to the poll. As we have seen previously, the most important issues facing Floridians are the economy, inflation, and immigration. All things Joe Biden and Democrats have failed to lead on. Democrats can keep making this election about the same failed manufactured issues they have used in the past to their own detriment. We are going to win Florida and win it big. I'll give you a chance to comment on that before we wrap up.
I laugh at every aspect of that. First of all, the fact that women are going to die is a manufactured issue shows how disconnected that the Republican Party is in the state of Florida. And when it comes to the economy, Joe Biden has reduced inflation. The prices of food are going down. We are seeing every single month overperforming on the jobs being produced. The Dow hit an all-time high of over 40,000 this year.
I'm pro-choice. I'm a Republican, and I believe that women have the right to choose. Trump, yeah, because the economy was far better.
Welcome to Unsanctioned.
Hey everybody, thanks so much. It's Commissioner Harrington. Thanks for tuning in to Voting with Brandon. Today we've got Trooper Steve with us. Steve, thanks so much for being here.
Man, how better could this possibly be? From the roads out to the water, no complaints from me.
Right, and it's so great. I'm also excited not only to have Steve with us down here in South Fork, but also because Steve graduated from the area as well.
Yeah, Poinciana High School, go Eagles, class of 05. Oh, I'm young.
There you go, 05. Yeah.
Coming down here, I was like, man, it's so nice. My parents, my mom still lives off of Windmill Point out here, built their house years ago. And just to see that this is still here, pretty awesome.
It is pretty amazing. And as we were talking earlier, a lot of people probably don't know about the availability of options when it comes to parks here in Osceola County. And that's why I'm so excited to get out here and show everybody the great opportunities we have just a couple miles from where everyone might live.
Yep, just a couple of miles from where everybody might live. And just give me 1 second. The camera froze, but all right, I think we're back. Yeah, we're back. Okay, there we are. So there's parks, abundance of parks, just a couple of miles where you might live. But Brandon, you're not at a park. You're in a lake.
And there's not one, I want to make this clear, there's not one single county park in District 3 where Brandon Arrington represents the district. Not a single one. There's that Mary Jane Arrington place that he named after his mommy, but that's not a county park. They sold that to the HOA of Poinciana for $10,000 after they spent millions building it. No. I mean, this is a joke. First of all,
No hit on Trooper Steve either, but if you had no problems with the roads to Poinciana, you were out in
That was the
Southport.
dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't care. I'm not hitting him either, but there's no from the road to here. From the road to here. What time did they go at? 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
3 o'clock in the morning is the only time there's not a problem. I mean, come on. This guy's a traffic guy, isn't he?
Yep.
Doesn't he do traffic
for the team? Traffic for Channel 6.
He does traffic. And he's saying from the roads to here. What kind of dumb? This is the most ridiculous. This is why you can't stand people,
I don't know
right?
if he was just being kind to Brandon or what, but because
I mean, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Every
you know what?
bit of grief he gets about the traffic because it's all his fault.
Absolutely. And for him to go there and kiss his ass like that is absolutely horrendous. Here's the thing. He's also friends with Melendez, right?
Yeah.
And you always got to wonder, people who are friends with Melendez, the reason that you're friends with Melendez is because you're jellyfish. Like, you know how you see schools of jellyfish that congregate together and there's no spine? So you can't speak the truth. You just got to speak what's convenient to you at that time. And that's what that was. I mean, that's from the... How are you a traffic guy and then you're in the place with the worst traffic in the entire state and you're like, oh, from the roads to here. God. Man, I hate that BS. I don't like fake.
Strange, very strange.
I don't like fake. Yeah, I don't like fake. And Brandon's a moron. It should be voting with morons. Where's a torpedo when you need one? That's what we were laughing about earlier. We're writing the headlines and we're like, what do I say here? Where's a torpedo when you need one? Or I'm praying for a torpedo or something, Yeah, where's a torpedo when you need one? Believe me.
The abundance of parks.
The abundance of parks. God. Anyways, welcome to another episode of Unsanctioned Florida. This is episode 17, May 25, 2024. And we have a great set of stories for you. I'll read them here. Nikki Fried said that women are dying in her fantasy world. Yeah. Women are dying. Did you know that women are dying in Florida?
I had no idea.
The only place women are dying is whenever they're inside of a liberal-run city. Then everybody has the same shot of being shot. But she's crazy. She's absolutely crazy. Yeah, and
you can see the desperation on her face in that video. The guy's throwing the facts at her, and she doesn't have really any rebuttal whatsoever. She's just kind of like...
Nothing factual, right? She can't say, oh, well, she starts talking about Biden and the economy, and are you kidding? Are you kidding? The economy? You can't run on the economy when we're all broke. You can't do it, right? When eggs cost the same as a pair of shoes, you can't say, hey, the economy's great.
Yeah, that's the wrong answer.
That's the wrong answer. Yeah, and they can't be honest because then you vote them out, right? So, I mean, they're in tough shape. So anyways, women are dying in Nikki's fantasy world. Where's a torpedo when you need one? We just talked about that. The Department of Education is looking into an Islamic school with alleged anti-Semitic leadership. Sumter County is also under investigation for grade manipulation. So a couple of education stories here. Mucarsel-Powell wants to debate Senator Scott in Spanish. I guess she's Hispanic. She's from Ecuador, was what we figured out in our research.
Debating him in English wouldn't do too well for her, I don't think.
I mean, what is she gonna do? She's gonna.
What's he gonna say?
Well, remember when Joe Biden did that interview on Telemundo and they dubbed his voice in Spanish by some soap opera actor, and he sounded like he was a normal human being and not a man who was having a bowel movement at that moment.
Maybe they'll do that for the June debate.
No kidding. In Spanish, they're going to do it for sure. There's a ton of... Oh, let me see. I lost my place here. So Sumter County under investigation for grade manipulation. Mucarsel-Powell wants to debate Scott in Spanish. State Representative Carolina Amesty. We know, we've talked about her a lot. Because the Sentinel, especially Scott Maxwell, is obsessed with her. Under constant attack. It never ends, and Amesty torches the Sentinel. The Anti-Defamation League faces scrutiny over a misleading program in schools. A judge strikes down the law to strengthen elections in Florida. Florida increases its home inventory by 57%. Now, look, can you imagine how much Florida has? We have tens of millions of people in this state. Yeah. And there's a lot of homes in Florida. It's not like Florida has been always without homes. Yeah. But it's increased by 57. That's a ton of development.
If you listen to your local politician, they will tell you, we have to keep building these homes because we don't have enough homes for all the people that want to move here. Well, guess what? We do.
Yeah, we got a lot of homes. They're building homes like crazy. St. Cloud is sending letters to those affected by the cyber attack. They said recently, they were confused about that word recently, weren't they?
Yeah.
2 months later.
2 months ago.
That was 2 months later. A priest bites a woman in St. Cloud. We'll talk a little bit about that. Mac Overstreet plan leaves citizens disappointed. We'll hear from our for someone running for the county commission about that.
I guess that was because of the abundance of parks,
the abundance of parks. Yeah, exactly. And a dirty lobbyist is arrested. We'll talk about that.
Up on that story.
I think I've met this dirty lobbyist.
Yes, I think you have.
And more on this episode of Unsanctioned Florida, episode 17. This is May 25, 2024. Thank you for joining us. We're going to say a quick prayer, and then we're going to get into the show. Lord, thank you so much for all the things that you do for us. This week, I got to say God bless you to thousands of kids, literally thousands of kids. And I've said God bless you to thousands of kids when they've graduated for 3 years. It's been a true pleasure and a true just awe-inspiring thing to see these kids and at their age, and some of them idealistic and some of them ready to lead and some of them just in wonderment, right? Overwhelmed by the wonderment of becoming an adult and so on. And we really need these kids to become the best versions of ourselves. So Lord, I pray and hope, just as we come here and we pray every week, that you inspire leaders to step up and do the right thing. Please inspire these kids to grow up and do the right thing and be the adults that we wish that we were. And we pray that they have the strength and the conviction and the morals and the guides, and most importantly, a relationship with you who makes everything great. So we pray this in your Lord, in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right,
start off with the state of Florida.
Yeah. We're frozen again?
Yeah, it seems that the new camera we're dealing with is giving us some issues.
So hopefully they hear us.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, the sound's not out. It's just a picture. So, the picture's back now. And, John, like you said, school is out. You did some graduations this week. School is out, but there's all kinds of issues going on in the schools. And Manny Diaz is getting on top of these issues. Like, for instance, the Florida Department of Education launching an inquiry into an Islamic school connected to an anti-Semitic mosque leader. Wow, all right. So here's a little picture of Manny Diaz, and he's working hard right now, John. Department of Education has launched an official inquiry into the Reviver Academy, a private Islamic school that operates downstairs from where Fadi Kablawi, an anti-Semitic dentist.
Wow. That's an unfortunate name for an anti-Semitic.
Kablawi. God, I'm not even going to say what that sounds like. But anyway.
No, but that's a terrible name for an anti-Semite.
Yeah, they're saying,
this is the guy who was a dentist.
Yes, the dentist. He works as a mosque leader. I am glad that the Department of Education has acted immediately at my request, and think it shows that Florida has little tolerance for the kind of Muslim terror celebrated in New York and California. This is what current Republican representative and Florida Senate candidate Randy Fine told the Floridian after the DOE letter was released, taking a shot at the most populous blue states. Fine wrote to the Department of Education last Wednesday informing them that Kablawi, who has called for the annihilation of tyrannical Jews and the Brothers of Apes and Pigs, also works as a religious leader at a North Miami mosque. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So this is a dentist who I believe lost his license, or they were working to remove his license, and Randy Fine was charging the lead. Randy Fine has really been an unapologetic, protector of the Republic and of Florida and our Judeo-Christian values. You really have to have a lot of respect for him, because it's not like he gains a lot of favor being as outspoken as he is, but he has been for sure. And I can't fault him for it. He's doing the hard task that all of our leaders. Here's the thing: we have people who are still hostages in Israel, right? They're still hostages in Israel. And so the fact that nobody's there, oh, we're just going to forget about it. These are hostages that are being raped and just brutalized right now. It's not like later. It's happening right now while we sleep at night. There's hostages being raped by Hamas. And man, if I were Israel, I wouldn't be tolerating anything, and we shouldn't be tolerating anything in this country either.
I saw a video on X recently that really turned my stomach, and it was a girl being transported out of the back of a Jeep. She had been raped multiple times. Her pants were bloodied in the back from where she was being raped. It's really disgusting. It's really sick. And I think if more people saw these things, I think the people that are defending Hamas and the Free Palestine movement wouldn't really have a leg to stand.
The Free Palestine movement is he wants to talk about the monkeys and pigs. Anybody who screams out Free Palestine is exactly that, the child of a monkey or a pig or a wolf. And they don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand what's involved here. They don't understand the absolute brutal terrorizing that's going on in Israel. War is ugly, and that's why you don't get in them. And they're ugly for a reason. They're people avoid them for a reason. And for people to be celebrating these acts of terror that lead to these wars, they're just as bad as the rapists themselves, in my opinion. They don't know what they're talking about. They've never seen the kind of carnage that war leads to. I have. And there's no winner. There's no winner in a war, right? Like everybody loses. All the people who fought in those wars, they lose. All the people who are living in countries where war takes place lose. Everybody's a loser in war. There's no winner. And you can say, oh well, you know, we won World War II, we won this, but we lost hundreds of thousands of people. That's not a win. That's just the fact. That's the byproduct. You controlled, you dominated the war. That doesn't mean that the people win, right? So it's a loss. War is a loss for everyone, and for people to be celebrating that kind of craziness, you know, they must be the son of apes and pigs.
Yeah, I think everybody is in agreement that we would like the war to end and like to see a ceasefire, but as long as you keep doing these things,
I mean, as long as there's a single hostage, as long as there's a single hostage by Hamas, I would. If I were Israel, here's the thing: those people, you know, like I always say, I swore an oath. Right? I swore an oath. That oath means something to me. You don't think that the soldiers of Israel, Israeli soldiers who swore that oath, the leaders, the generals, the politicians there, they care. Believe me, the politicians in Israel, the soldiers of Israel, they care about the oath that they made to their country, right? Because for them, this is an extension of the Holocaust. So they care about their oath. You think they're not going to fulfill their oath to the greatest degree they can? They're going to, and so would I. You know, and if there was one single hostage remaining, I would be knocking down every single building, every single room, every single shack, every tunnel I would be imploding until I had all of my hostages back, because that's the duty. And if people die as a result of that, it's directly related to the terrorist attack that they did.
Yeah. This girl, this video I was talking about, she was a 17-year-old girl, John, and there are kids younger than that are dealing with this bullshit crap, you know what I mean, that's going on over there. So, anyway, we're moving on. So, like we said, you know, lots of school stories this week. Florida looking into Sumter County amid school grade manipulation accusations. The school district says the charges are unfounded. Yeah, okay.
Who said that?
The school district. Well, there's Manny again, and Florida Department of Education is investigating Sumter County's public school district amid allegations of moving low-performing students so they don't affect school grades. News 6 obtained a letter Education Commissioner Manny Diaz sent to the chairman of the Sumter County School Board in March after receiving a tip from a viewer. In it, Diaz tells Chair Brett Sherman the state received allegations that the school district has been improperly withdrawing low-performing students from various public schools and enrolling them in shell schools in order to remove
shell schools.
Yeah, shell schools. I don't know what that is. I guess a fake school? In order to remove their statewide assessment results from the calculation of school grades.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
The media said the allegations claim Sumter County was manipulating grades as far back as 2016-2017 school year. So Manny Diaz working hard, John. You know,
I like Manny Diaz a lot. Manny Diaz is a pro-school choice guy. He's been there from the very beginning. He was a principal at a school where a friend of mine used to work, and my friend was actually... I think that my friend was his boss, but he volunteered on his campaign. He ran for school board and lost. Then he won for state rep. I think, or state senator. This guy has a great career. He's made a bunch of great choices. He's a great man. He's a man of faith. And he's really been at the forefront of all of these educational initiatives that we have going on in Florida. And most importantly, he's a pro-school choice guy. He believes that the parent is supposed to choose where their child goes. He protects that right. And then he protects the kids that are in public school from all the disgusting ideological agendas that are out there. So I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's a good guy. And he's working hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And mostly at this stage, right, where you have a governor who's got, a year and a half left? He's on the back. Maybe he's got 6 months. Maybe he's got a year and a half left in his job and his role, right? And certainly the next governor will have the opportunity to appoint his own Secretary of Education. But if he's working hard to the very end, and I really have a lot of respect for that.
Absolutely. So, John, Florida Democrats, their big target this election cycle is Rick Scott. I mean, I think it's pretty apparent from everything they're doing. Debbie Mucarsel-Powell.
Somebody says that feedback is awful. I'm sorry if you guys are getting feedback here. I'm not sure where the...
Tell me if it changes now.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So... send me a note. Hey, thank you for watching. Vanessa for joining us.
Equipment.
Thurman, thank you very much. We kind of changed. Your sound is rubber banding. Boing, boing, boing. Okay, so
what about now?
Pull this out. What about now? Is that a little bit better? So we don't know, but you're gonna better.
No, I know the new camera is picking up sound too. So
that's that. Okay,
yeah,
so
I turned that off. I turned the sound off to that. I saw that going.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was going to affect the show or not, but I guess it does.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. All right, fantastic.
All right, so yeah, like I was saying, they're I've seen in Republican posts on X ads for Mucarsel-Powell showing up in the comments. So they're obviously targeting Rick Scott. They're not even worried about his opponent in the primary. But anyway, she, Debbie Mucarsel-Powell, wants to debate Rick Scott in Spanish. And,
Why would Rick Scott do... First of all, I'm okay with doing it. I don't care. I would debate my... Spanish, I'm not nearly as strong in Spanish as I am in English. So, but I am fluent. I consider myself fluent. So, would I debate my competitors in Spanish? Sure, I would, if that's the only way that they would give it to me, right? And that's the only way, apparently, my Republican primary opponent, the only way that he'll debate me is in Spanish. I would imagine. The Democrats, they don't want to debate me in any language. So I just... Why would Rick Scott take... He's gonna win this hands down. She's not gonna come nearly as close. This is the Democrats grasping at straws, and they think that they're gonna win a statewide election in Florida. That's a joke. That's not gonna happen. But in their mind, they see that Rick Scott has always come within like 1 or 2% of winning. Rick Scott's gonna have the biggest victory he's ever had in his political career. This election cycle. He's gonna win by 5, 7, 8 points, which is a huge victory for him. Because there's some people that he does not resonate with, but they still trust him to lead, right?
They trust him to do the job.
They trust him to do the job, right? So, and today, forget it. They're not gonna. Who's gonna take the chance with a new senator? It doesn't make any sense.
And he's put his name in the hat for Senate Minority Leader again. So
man, I hope that he wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be great if he was minority leader, and then Rubio was VP, right? I mean, that would be awesome if we had the whole Florida running the entire country.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But she's doubling down on her call to debate Rick Scott in Spanish. A one-term Latina congresswoman Mucarsel-Powell has lasered in on Hispanic voters throughout her campaign. Earlier this month, she unveiled a Spanish-language web ad accusing Scott of destroying freedom. Okay.
They're always so dramatic, these guys. I mean, it's hard to take them seriously. Everything that women are dying. Our freedom is lost. The only people who are a threat to our freedom is the Democrats.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that are an actual legitimate threat to our freedoms because they don't like freedom. Yeah. I mean, it's what are they thinking?
I don't know. Who knows? I think they're thinking this is going to work for them, but I'm thinking it's not. So,
it's not going to work.
Like we talked about, John, the Orlando Sentinel has been relentless in their attacks against Carolina Amesty, despite the fact that she got an A rating from this Florida legislative session. And
this is the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce went ahead and gave her an A rating, and I think she deserves it. Absolutely.
And here's why this is important, because voters right now care more about the economy than they care about anything else, right? We're frozen there too.
Yeah.
So if they care more about the economy than they care about anything else, then yeah, the Chamber of Commerce matters, right? This is the Florida Chamber. This is not the little hoe down Osceola County Chamber of Commerce. This is the legit state Chamber of Commerce. So if they give an A, then you know that then that A matters. That means she's making business happen.
Yeah, she is, and she's been very busy, but
she
Scott
works.
Maxwell and the Orlando Sentinel, for whatever reason,
there is what was the word that I was trying to look up? Somebody said it last time.
Stalker?
No, that there's a when you have like a little a niche in your house where it's dedicated to somebody. I forgot what somebody put it in the comments out here. When you have like a little, when you're praying to a little altar in a little niche of a house or something like that. Somebody came up with the word. I forgot what it is again. But nonetheless, that's what he's got in his house right now. He's got a little corner of his garage where he's got 100 pictures of Carolina Amesty, and a little Carolina Amesty bobblehead that he obsesses over, apparently.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me, especially with this individual.
The guy is crazed with her. How? And like there was somebody that was I'm convinced that he has multiple fake Twitter accounts.
Because every time I comment, he'll write something. And this guy wrote something about his stupid cat the other day. His cat died, I guess. I don't know if the cat died or not. I didn't read the article. But he wrote something about his cat the other day. Now, I know what it's like to lose a pet. I think we all know what it's like to lose a pet, right? It's a big deal. But, dude, your job is to report for the people of Orlando. This is not your diary. This is for the people of Central Florida. Your diary, and he treats it like it's his diary. I'm obsessed with Carolina Amesty. He writes Carolina. He's got a notebook in his garage where he's got his little altar there over Carolina Amesty, writing it all.
Imagine what his bedroom looks like. Pictures all over the wall.
But it's just, I paint that picture because it's the only thing they. What about, just because she's 96, that means that you can't write about her? She violated state statute twice, 2 election cycles in a row. Are you writing about her every day? No. Is she just as corrupt as any of the allegations that you made against any other politician? Yeah, the Arrington family is pretty corrupt. Morally corrupt, if nothing else. So
at least that's my opinion, right? They're horrendous. And they give contracts to their family. They do all kinds of shady stuff that I think that the citizens don't appreciate. But they never write about Democrats.
No.
Right?
No.
It's just, people of color who are conservatives, I think, are his favorite target.
Yeah. Well, this is her statement. I don't know if you want to read it.
Yeah, let's read it. I'm going to read this. Yeah, go ahead. Pull it up. Yeah. Okay, the Orlando Sentinel's hit pieces about me have been and continue to be outright lies and distortions. The Sentinel's conduct, including stalking my family's employees late at night, misleading sources, attacking me for financial matters related to my parents, suppressing exculpatory information from its readers, and even urging candidates to run against me, has been outrageous and unbecoming of a newspaper that purports to be nonpartisan. While the Sentinel would like nothing more than to burden me with legal bills in the middle of an election year, I'm focused on my legislative work and the upcoming campaign. Although lawsuits against elite corporations are prohibitively expensive, I will never hesitate to set the record straight on the Sentinel's falsehoods about me. Boom. Boom. This is why I like her, because she is a fighter. I love that about her. She doesn't joke around. She hits them back, and they deserve it. First of all, there's nothing nonpartisan about the Orlando Sentinel. They've never been nonpartisan. They've always been partisan. Even when they, my nonpartisan race for school board the first time, where they endorsed me, right? They didn't say any other. I think that they endorsed Brandon Arrington. They're like, Brandon Arrington knows what's going on. He's a great guy. And then for me, they were like, Arguello, we endorse Arguello because these other people are idiots. That's clear. But Arguello, let's just hope he doesn't have any more driving infractions. Literally, they said that. Who the hell cares about driving infractions? It just goes to show they can't play it straight. They have to put in their little, little liberalism on it. It's just, they're a horrendous paper.
They can't help themselves.
They can't help themselves. They can't help themselves.
Well, another school story, John. This school board member is saying they've misled everybody. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, faces funding scrutiny amid left-wing program in Florida schools. And this is school board member Brenda Pham. She is a Broward County school board member. She has continued to sound the alarm on an Anti-Defamation League program in Florida schools, saying grant funding should be returned and that the organization has misled everybody about its programs. Broward County School Board member Brenda Pham, an attorney with over 30 years of legal experience, said she has serious concerns regarding the district's contract with the ADL and the No Place for Hate program. Pham has previously served as an assistant state attorney and has been serving on the school board since 2022. Florida Voice investigation revealed the ADL is providing schools across Florida with a program that includes controversial lesson plans covering topics like gender identity, racism, social justice, political events, and teaching children how to be activists. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
The Florida Department of Education issued the following statement to Florida's Voice on Thursday. They said, the department is aware of these allegations, and we are looking into the matter. Rest assured, if we determine that schools are utilizing resources for classroom instructions that violate state law or rule, there will be consequences. Governor DeSantis has been clear. Florida will not tolerate any form of indoctrination in the classroom. That came from Manny Diaz's office. Like we said earlier, he is working, and I have no doubt that if this is going on, he's gonna take care of it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, they're all over it, right? So I don't know what transgender or whatever stuff, but that just doesn't belong in our schools. It doesn't belong in our schools. They're preaching about it. It doesn't belong in our schools. And something else I think that they could reach. They could go on. Okay, so at first, right, after COVID, I think that education became a gigantic concern. Everybody was concerned. Parents were concerned across the board about the safety, the well-being of their kids. And I think that Florida has let off the gas a little bit. Yeah. And they realized that, no, parents are not going to give up. So that you got to keep an amount of pressure. But it takes a lot of political capital and a lot of resources to fight those battles. So I think that now they're trying to balance all these other things. We got to win the election. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to waste our time. We don't want to be in a constant, you don't want to be in a conflict like that's going to last forever, that's never going to have a good result, and so on, right? So they're making all these things. But listen, parents will never abandon their kids. They're not going to abandon their kids. So this might as well be something that you take you grab the bull by its horns and you drive that bull into the ground and you hold it there until it stops struggling. Yeah, that's the only way that we're going to get our education system back, is that we knock this crap out completely and make people pay. And I think that they're willing to do that whenever there's a good example. I'm not a big fan of the recent legislation where they made it so that only a parent can complain, because I pay taxes, you pay taxes, you pay taxes. Anybody that pays taxes, if you're asking for my money, then I got a right to speak about it. Yeah. And that's just to me, that makes sense. It does not make sense to have legislation that says, oh, well, you have to be a parent. You can only do it one time. You can only do this. You can do that. And those laws take effect in July, which means I bet you June is going to be a month of a ton of activity. We'll put it that way, activity regarding all these bad actors and ideologies in schools.
Yeah. All right, John. So A federal judge has struck down part of Florida law targeting non-citizens helping with voter registration, John. Ugh. So, a federal judge, like I said, struck this down recently. The recently changed Florida election law barring non-citizens from handling voter registrations for those third-party groups. The law was changed by SB 7050 in 2023, which instituted a $50,000 fine for the organizations if they violate the non-citizen provision. The ruling was issued by Chief U.S. District Judge Mark Walker Wednesday in a case involving multiple activist groups, including the League of Women Voters, the NAACP, Hispanic Federation, and Poder Latinx against the state. He ruled that the law's provision violates 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Of course, Florida intends to appeal the decision and has already appealed a prior temporary injunction.
Well,
14th Amendment, John.
Yeah, the 14th Amendment. So I'm no lawyer, right? But I mean, when you look through the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, it talks about all persons born and naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. And you know, I read through it while we were prepping for the show. I didn't see anything that would apply to this. I don't understand. They're not citizens. Why would we want them involved in our elections?
Right.
If you're a resident, then you can't vote. Why would you be involved in the election process? Because you have an opinion? Well, that's not enough.
No, it's not.
That's not enough.
Why are we allowing people that are not allowed to vote in our elections to sign people up to vote? That doesn't make any sense.
To be involved at all. I don't care what your involvement is.
No.
Right? I don't care what your involvement is. If you can't vote, then you should not be involved in the elections at all. Having an opinion is not enough to be involved. You can take your opinion, have your opinion, speak out, use your voice however you like, but you can't be involved in our elections because you can't vote.
No.
So, you know, if you want to vote, then you got to become a citizen. And that's it. And right now I'm leaning towards even reducing how you become, you're making it more difficult to become a citizen. I mean, it's just... Our country, the Democrats want to get, they're bringing in all these illegal aliens so that they can vote.
Yep.
Right? This is not by accident. They're bringing in illegal aliens so that they can vote. They're going to allow them to vote in cities and in counties and in places like this.
And then you have about it.
They've talked about it.
Yeah.
You have all these county commissioners here in Osceola County, right? When they turn your logo into the gay pride flag, they have other designs. They're going, you know, that they're already left of center. They're beyond left of center. So when that happens, they're signaling to you what's going to happen. If you were to leave these five guys, these five commissioners, right? They're not all men, but these five commissioners in charge of the county without being checked, this is going to become a sanctuary city. It'll become a sanctuary city. The illegals will be able to vote in local municipal elections. It'll get worse and worse and worse and worse until we're far worse than Orlando. Because at least in Orlando, no, you know, whatever you want to say about Buddy Dyer, he's not dumb.
No.
Right? Is Brandon Arrington? I would speculate that he is. Because you can't mess up as bad as they have without being dumb. And the people who control these politicians prefer the politicians to be dumb. Right? It's preferable, and it's preferable because they're easier to manipulate. They're easier to get to do what you want them to do, and they're more accessible. Their corruption is more accessible for them.
You know, this is why local elections are so important, and why you really need to get involved, know these candidates, know who they are, know what they're all about. You know, because sooner or later you don't pay attention. You just vote by what comes in the mail, or you like this name better than the other one on the ballot. You're going to end up in a bad situation like some of these other states and these other cities. And there's, you know, once it's too late, it's too late.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very hard to come back from that.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can't, and you have to wait a long time to get rid of these people. This is not like the state rep where you just wait 2 years. Talking about 4 years, 16 years of Brandon Arrington has destroyed this county, right? 4 years of Ricky Booth, right? has destroyed this county. That's come at a huge consequence. You have District 5 that has essentially no representation. His wife was on the school board. He was on the county commission at the same time, and they're both worthless. Yeah. Worthless is too much of a value placed on them.
And there's one man who's behind all of them. That
I think we're going to
talk about that later.
We're going to talk about that guy
segment, because I'm very upset, and I told you this earlier about some of the things that are going on Facebook and stuff, but let's finish Florida segment.
Okay, let's do it. We're getting distracted. We're going slow. Listen, we've been like this on the show, right? We've been really moving through the show. We've been moving through the stories really quick. We were on site at Osceola Heritage Park while I was doing graduations, and it was between graduations that we did the show. So we've been really moving. Now we feel a little bit more relaxed. We can talk a little bit more.
We're back in the studio or in the bunker, and
But we don't want to spend an hour and a half or 2 hours of your time. So. But thank you for joining us. There's a lot of people that are watching right now. We appreciate you being here with us. You're great guys, and we really appreciate you. So thank you, Tim. Thank you, Vanessa. Vanessa's just a 30-year more plus teacher, retired teacher. You've done great things. We love you and appreciate you. Thurman, you're always on. Thank you. Rachel, you're the best. You're the best, right? Tom loves you. Thank you. And so thank you to all of you guys for watching. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So this story, John, I really had to pull this for the show because this bothers me. Florida sees a 57% increase in housing inventory over past year. That is the highest in the country. And, I'll say a little bit more after I read this part. But, Florida, like I said, 57% year over year increase in housing from March 2023 to March 2024. And that's published by Resi Club. It was easily found as the highest increase for any state in the country, with second place Vermont coming in 20 percentage points behind. And the thing about this is this. I've heard multiple politicians across Osceola County, including Mayor Nathan Blackwell, Brandon Arrington, Ricky Booth, and others, say things to the effect of, we don't have enough houses for all the people that want to move here. So that's why we have to have development. We have to let these people continue to build. This right here,
it's okay if they move somewhere else,
shows that is BS. It's BS. There's plenty of room within the state of Florida. They don't all have to live in St. Cloud. I know that the taxes go up. You get more tax money if you have more residents in St. Cloud, but they don't need to be here. So don't believe that. Just remember, 57%. There you go. There's plenty of houses.
Well, 57. Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, it's okay if people don't move here.
Yeah.
You don't have to get them all. All right, allow them to go throughout the state so that the infrastructure can do a better job of supporting the influx of people who want to live in the free state of Florida. They don't all have to move here to Osceola County. They don't all have to go into Poinciana. They don't all have to go onto Narcoossee, right, or off of Narcoossee. They don't all have to. This is a
or even now Hickory Tree and Canoe Creek.
Yeah, I mean they don't all have to be put there, right? And if you took, here's the thing, 57%. Is a gigantic increase, right? Nobody even comes close. Now, if you were to take Osceola County and you separated Osceola County, right, compared to the rest of the state, I bet you we would be at 100% or more.
Yeah.
Increase in home. I just guarantee you that's a huge number, and that's a part of the problem is that the people who are making money. Now, there's all of these laws. When you take all of the things that are happening and you put them on a wall, then it makes sense. Just like you watch a football game, right? And then you go to, okay, well, this coach, he calls this play, this play, this play, this play, this play. And you put them on a whole game for the whole season. And there's, let's say, 120 plays in a football game for each team. And then you put the 120 times 16 games in the regular season. You'll learn how that coach thinks, right? Yeah. You'll be able to see what he does. And that's, if you did the same thing for the state of Florida, and then you do the same thing for Osceola County and the two cities, then you're going to realize that there's a game plan involved, and you can see how they think. And I think if you saw a big bubble, you'd see like one of those poop icons, right? One of those poop emojis. But at the same time, they have a plan, and that plan is not good. That's what we need to be focused on. We need to be focused on changing that plan, because the plan that they have for you and me to live in it's not a good one.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So before we move on to the Osceola County segment, John, we have this important message from our friend, Laura McAdams.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Laura McAdams. Hi, I'm Laura McAdams. My name is Laura McAdams. I'm a mother who advocates for kids.
Whether it was the masking of our kids or inappropriate materials in our schools, only one candidate for school board has been outspoken and fighting back for years to protect our kids. Laura wants a first-class education for every child in Osceola. She wants to ensure that our kids are in safe and secure learning environments, free from political agendas. On August 20th, elect a proven fighter who hasn't stopped fighting for our kids and never will.
This message is paid for and approved by Laura McAdams, candidate for Osceola County School Board District 5.
Come on, guys.
We're froze up again. I think I know what the problem is with this camera, and I will have it completely fixed for the next time. But yeah. It's problematic.
Every time we change something.
Yeah, every time we switch over to a different scene, it's just anything. Anyway, so yeah, we did talk about Brandon Arrington. He does have this new show that he's doing called Voting with Brandon. Not many people are watching it. I can tell you that.
How many people? How many views?
I know that the last one I think got 15 views. And
how much is the county spending for 15 views? You know what's going to happen because we said
it is being produced by Positively Osceola.
Oh, you know what's funny? Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I wonder how much the county is spending to produce this show for him, right? And then he uses that as a campaign tool.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And on top of that, there's 15 people watching. So you split the $5,000 that it costs to produce the show by 15 people. That's what they're spending.
They're not doing a good job of sharing it. I can tell you that.
I don't think that anybody cares what Brandon thinks, right? And there's the only people that are the 15 people that watch it are his mommy, and then 14 haters. There's nobody. Steve probably watches himself, right? He watches himself be on there. But, that's it.
I think that as long as he has Mother Arrington at the Supervisor of Elections office, he's not worried about anything. He's got it in the bag. But he does have a political ad going around Facebook right now. There it is. It says, and he's very proud of this. Proudly serving our community since 2008. 2008. Proudly serving since 2008. 2008, that's 16 years. The legislature, you need to get term limits done now.
Yeah.
You need to get term limits done now because when you have somebody in office for 16 years, he feels untouchable. He feels like he can do whatever he wants, and that's what he's done. And you look at the results that we have after those 16 years.
It's been horrendous.
Yeah. So
it's been horrendous.
When you get a chance, give it a laugh. If you see it out there, please show no mercy. Show no mercy. All right. So anyway, let's start off with this story, John. St. Cloud. The city is offering help to residents impacted by that recent cybersecurity attack. But it wasn't recent, John. It was 2 months ago, but they're still saying it's recent. Okay. So the city has launched a toll-free phone number to help employees and customers impacted by that recent cybersecurity incident. Phone number. People who believe they were affected by the cyber attack can call 1-800-939-4170 from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. The investigation is ongoing, but the city believes the criminals accessed the system for data between March 17th and March 25th of 2024.
That's exactly 2 months ago.
The information that they could have gotten from this cybersecurity event could be your name, your address, your date of birth, your social security number, your driver's license, your medical information, your health insurance information, and financial account information. Now, the city of St. Cloud said that after the investigation is over, they will send letters to those affected. And the officials from the city of St. Cloud said residents should always be aware of suspicious activity on their account.
There's a suspicious activity. The St. Cloud City Council is the suspicious activity.
Oh my God, they're so ridiculous. This is outrageous that they even said that. It's your fault. Your firewalls were not strong enough. Your cybersecurity was not on par. Not good enough anyway, that these guys came in, took what they wanted for a couple of days. You guys figured it out. You put a stop to it, but who knows what got out there now. You offer a phone number for people.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I mean, normally
we
when
don't
this
get
happens,
sued.
when this happens, normally you see companies, they'll give somebody like a year of like the personal, like concierge service like ID protection and stuff like that.
Right. Like the LifeLock or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Here they give you an 888 number. They can't even get an 800 number. It's an 888 number. 888. It's a recording. It's a recording. Hi, you've reached St. Cloud. Click.
It's Nathan Blackwell. I'm so sorry that this happened to you.
You're gonna have him there. That's funny.
We'll get this straightened out.
There's a possibility that he likes to get people out of trouble.
Yeah, and lie about it too.
We'll see.
All right, so this is unbelievable. This story. This Florida priest, and then it says Florida priest, but he's a St. Cloud priest. He is accused of biting a woman during communion. This priest at St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Church claims it was a matter of self-defense. Here's the video, and here's the video.
St. Cloud priest admitted he bit a parishioner.
He says it was in self-defense from a woman forcing him to give her communion. The police were called, and it was all caught on video. News 6's Laverne McGee shows us what happened next.
I bite her. I'm not denying that.
We have blurred the face of this priest since he has not been criminally charged or arrested. But you can clearly hear him explaining to St. Cloud police why he bit a parishioner during Sunday Mass.
She pushed me and grabbed. And I have the bowl with the holy host for Masses sacred. And she grabbed all the host in the hands because she wants to receive from herself. It is not permitted.
This video shows officers trying to figure out what caused the altercation with a churchgoer at St. Thomas Aquinas on Sunday.
That's a hard bite.
Oh, yeah. He, grabbed my wrist and he just...
The matter is being referred to the state attorney's office for a decision on whether or not to proceed with charges.
And she break all the holes, spreading them before spreading in the floor. Mm-hmm. I grabbed her hand. You cannot do this. This is wrong. This is sacrilege. I said, I don't care. I am receiving communion.
The diocese gave us a statement which read in part, while the Diocese of Orlando does not condone physical altercations such as this, in good faith, he was simply attempting to prevent an act of desecration of the Holy Communion. But local residents we spoke with said under no circumstances should a priest get violent, especially in church.
I don't think that he should have any special privileges against the law there if he did something that was illegal for anyone else to do.
There's no justification for biting someone.
Laverne McGee, Getting Results, News 6.
Okay, so I disagree with this whole thing. Here's my opinion. Number one, you're in a church, right? If you're trying to force... If you're not Catholic, this may seem foreign to you, but if you're supposed to go to confession and you're supposed to do certain things so that you can receive communion, to a Catholic, the host is the body of Christ. It's not a euphemism for the body of Christ or for the act. It's not symbolic of it. It's actual communion received in the body of Christ, right?
So they were upset. This guy's protecting. It's sacrilegious. So this person's reaching over to try to grab the body of Christ, and the priest is trying to protect it. To me, I like that. I like it. I like the fact that he's willing to defend something that he believes. To him, that's God in that bowl, and he's protecting it. I can appreciate that. Who does this woman think she is to go and try to give her a reach in? No, you don't do that. They refuse it. You don't like it? Too bad. You go, you leave, you go to another church. I mean, I don't understand this. I don't understand. I would have bit her. I would have bit her.
I don't know. I don't know. I think biting was a little bit too
well,
much.
The
and
problem
from
is
what
that
I understand, he bit her really hard. I mean,
I'll break a wrist. You know, here's the thing. If for me, right? So if that were my daughter, let's say that somebody wanted to speak to my daughter, right? And this woman, I say, no, don't talk to her. Come on, let's go this way, right? And that woman reaches around me to grab my daughter. What would your reaction be?
yeah, but that's grabbing your daughter.
Right.
That's
Okay.
different.
Well,
I mean,
to that priest, that bowl of hosts, which is basically a cookie, right, is Jesus Christ.
or a wafer or whatever.
Right. That's Jesus Christ. So would you not protect Jesus Christ the same way you would your daughter? I would.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not. See, the thing is, for a Catholic, that's not symbolic. No. Right. So it's sacrilegious. So it's the same thing. To what degree would you protect the things that you believe in? And the fact is, that's his house, right? And so I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay for us to disagree on this, right?
I don't know. I was raised a Catholic.
Yeah.
I used to go to St. Thomas Aquinas when I was younger. I stopped going because of something that happened there, and it didn't have anything to do with this. It wasn't no biting or anything like that. It was more.
So they don't have a track record of biting.
Things that were said during Mass and about the collection plate and stuff like that, and it just really turned me off. But yeah, I just think this was a little extreme. I think it was a little too much.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. But what I'm saying is, don't treat this woman like.
No.
Like,
I'm not going to
like,
defend her actions at all. Her actions are wrong, but his were too. And,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. I absolutely agree. But here's the thing. I don't think that this guy. Here's the thing. What would you do? Let's say, all of you out there. Let's imagine, or let's just pose the question: what would you do to protect Christ? Right? What would you do to protect Christ? What would you physically do to protect Christ? Because and this is something that I think about all the time, because it's like, how Peter, he denied Christ 3 times. I mean, it was important enough for it to be in the Bible, right? And so if he denied Christ 3 times, this guy, if he had done nothing, if he had allowed, because I think most men, especially because it's a woman, they would have allowed her to take it. Right? They would have abandoned the mission, so to speak, right? They would have left it. I'm not going to fight over it. I'm not going to cause drama over it. I'm going to abandon it. And that's what our citizens do with elections and politics, right? They abandon. I'm not going to fight over that. I don't feel comfortable putting my name on that. I don't feel this. I'm not going to speak out. I don't want any trouble. I don't want somebody to come and retribution over me. I don't want, right? And so citizens treat elections the way that most priests are expected to treat this situation, right? And our country doesn't need that right now. What we need is for priests to defend Jesus Christ. What we need is for the citizens to protect our country and our communities. What we need is for leaders to protect what is right and true. We need people to start biting. Right? We need people to start biting.
The only problem
biting
I have with
and
that,
fighting.
John, is that the priest was telling the police that she had already knocked the host on the floor.
Yeah.
At that point, so he wasn't protecting the host at that point. It seems more like he was getting revenge for what happened in that moment.
That would be horrendous, because that would be completely contrary.
Because he said, she had knocked the host onto
the ground.
and then he bit her. I mean, if he was biting her to protect the hosts, I don't know. Even then, I'm still a little all over the place about that. But you can push her, you can do other things. You don't have to bite. You're not a dog. You're not an animal.
Yeah, yes, it is. Here's the thing. I'm not excusing it. It's crazy. Yeah. The whole thing is crazy. It's crazy that we're watching that on the news, right? But what the hell kind of person comes in and tries to snatch the host from a priest?
Yeah, that's not right.
Right? I mean, it's just crazy. The whole thing is crazy. Yeah. And so I'm just saying that, it's okay. It would be better if more people bit, if it would lead to more people being careful where they put their hands.
This wouldn't be a story in St. Cloud 20 years ago.
It would not have been?
No,
probably not.
No. All right, so the conceptual plans for the Mac Overstreet Park leave Osceola residents uneasy. And, we've talked a lot about Mac Overstreet, what's going on over there, John, and it's just crazy. Initially, what happened?
Somebody's making a comment. Let's say you're at Fat Boys. Never mind, too soon.
All right. Yeah. Initially, Osceola commissioners were negotiating the sale of land at the park to a private company that wanted to develop green energy production facilities there, including for hydrogen. But public outcry about the potential dangers for producing hydrogen so close to residential areas prompted those plans to shift. Now, earlier this year, Osceola approved the sale of a different site for Panacea Global Energy Incorporated to develop its green energy technology park. But although many community members are relieved a hydrogen plant is no longer slated for Mac Overstreet, some remain concerned about what will become of the planned 400-acre public park. And we know somebody who's definitely concerned about that.
Yeah,
and then she's quoted in this. We were hoping for things like a community center where we could hold meetings, where there could be exercise classes. We were hoping for a pool, said Debbie Rambis, who is currently running against Osceola County Commissioner Brandon Arrington, who's held District Seat 3 for 16 years. I love that they put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
But Rambis says those hopes weren't reflected on two conceptual plans for Mac Overstreet shared recently by county staff at a community meeting. The two renderings weren't much different from each other, Rambis said, but her concern is what they do have in common. A lot of land currently designated vacant instead of for future park amenities. And we do have the pictures of these plans, John. So this is one of them right here. And here is the other one. These are the two concept plans that the county put out. And you can tell.
So where are those softball fields? The four-leaf clover there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's really hard to tell from the size of the picture.
Yeah.
But you can look at it, and you can see the whole front part of the park is where they plan to make it a park.
Mm-hmm.
The back part is what the concern is, and that's all vacant land, and you can only guess what
are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to make $1 million for themselves. That's what they're going to do there. So okay, so I really like how Debbie fights for this. Debbie has been fighting. She's been biting. All right, she's been, to use a, no pun intended, no wordplay, but here's the thing. She's been fighting and biting over this park.
Yeah.
She essentially organized sufficient resistance to prevent Brandon Arrington from putting a huge chemical plant where there's supposed to be a county park. And that's incredible in and of itself. But now she's fighting proactively to get something that is important to us, which is the first county park there, right? At least one county park. This land was sold to the county with bonds and a tax to make a park. And now they're taking the park away, right? At least they were going to take the park away so that they could develop it into a factory for Brandon Arrington, probably to manufacture more bullcrap. So we need, if you live in District 3, if you live from downtown Kissimmee all the way down Pleasant Hill and all the way down Poinciana Boulevard, then you need to become active in this movement. There's multiple things that are happening in District 3, and they're all terrible. They're all going to make the traffic worse. They're going to make the quality of life worse. And it all has to do with building a giant road, splitting Poinciana in half. Then you have this place where they want to put that vacant land is not going to be vacant. They're going to build that park to keep these people quiet, make them feel happy for a moment, and then they're going to build some other toxic plant there or whatever else they can sell because they do that, okay? They need to do that. They can't do just the right thing here. And they also taxed for it. So now they need more revenue. You have to remember, our county is spending revenue. $8 million the county spent sending kids to college for free. I know a lot of people are a big fan of that. But nothing is free. Those $8 million were supposed to do things like this, okay? It was supposed to take care of the community, the quality of life for all taxpayers, not just for 18-year-olds graduating from high school. This was supposed to take care of a whole bunch of things, the taxes, everything, all these problems that are there, mounting and mounting and mounting, and they're waiting for us, the people who are active and fighting against the county commission, from being exhausted. They're waiting us out. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that we need to dig in and make sure that we put up the resistance, and that's why it's so important to fight against another term by Brandon Arrington, because he's just going to sell out the county from beneath us.
Yeah, don't give this man.
Same with Ricky Booth.
Don't give him 20 years, because that's what it's going to be if he gets reelected.
Yeah.
I mean, please. And we talked about this story on the last Unsanctioned Florida. What happened between you and Mike Horner at Fat Boys Barbecue in St. Cloud? It had just happened that day. It happened earlier in the day. They hadn't arrested him. They hadn't done anything at that point. But now further details are here. He has been arrested. He was arrested at 1 o'clock in the morning. The following day, Saturday. And now he is accused of battery on you.
Yeah.
And you. So here's a video from Channel 2. We think they did an all right job with this one. So here it is.
State representative and lobbyist is accused of assaulting an Osceola County School Board member who's running for state senate. Mike Horner is facing 1 count of battery on an elected official. As West 2's Paula Tristan Arruda tells us, it was all caught on camera.
St. Cloud police say Mike Horner was arrested overnight after an incident that happened Friday with Osceola County board member John Arguello. Arguello says he was at a fundraiser for Orange Osceola State Attorney Andrew Bain at a barbecue restaurant. The school board member tells me when he walked in, Horner told him he didn't belong there. At some point, things got a little tense, and Arguello decided to shoot a video, which he later posted on social media. That's when he says Horner got out of his seat.
Not video. You do not video me.
In my phone, I see Mike jumping out of his chair and coming around the table, and then he attacked me. He tried to wrangle the phone out of my hand, and he kind of did a glancing blow that hit me in the neck and collarbone, and wrangled over my phone.
Horner had his first appearance in court on Saturday morning in Osceola County, where he was given a $2,500 bond and was ordered by a judge to have no contact with the victim. But this isn't the first time Horner and Arguello have crossed paths. Arguello says they are political opponents.
This was not a fight over words that we exchanged that day. This is a fight that has culminated after 3 years of me fighting against corruption.
In 2022, the Osceola County School Board voted to reprimand Arguello after he was accused of intimidating Horner, who was a school board lobbyist at the time, to contribute to his sister's campaign, who was running for a seat on the school board. Horner's attorney accused Arguello of engaging in hostile acts beyond the scope of his duty on the board. Arguello denied the claims. We have reached out to Horner for comment, but we haven't heard back yet. Back to
So I don't know. Do you want to start with this one? Do you want to start?
So what do we do? How do we got an echo there, right? So, I mean.
No, it sounds all right.
No, I hear an echo. You guys let us know if there's an echo or something. So, I don't know. I don't remember if we talked about what happened, right? Did we describe what happened?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
So, there's not worth describing again. That's what happened. What happened, right? Then they went around, they arrested him. So let me talk a little bit about what's happened since. Number one, from what I understand, right, it has to be verified, but then Horner or a representative of Horner reached out to the Gazette, Positively Osceola, and all these other people and said, don't share this news. Don't talk about this news.
Yeah.
So, number one, there you go. So the Osceola Gazette did not do it. They did a story.
Yeah.
Right? They did a story on it. Yeah. They just copied and pasted, I think, Channel 2 or something like that. It's important to mention also, they talked about the allegations that Mike Horner made against me. That went to the Commission on Ethics. And the Commission of Ethics, which is a bipartisan commission of 9 people, found that I did nothing wrong. So they found there was no probable cause on a technical level. So they did nothing wrong. That was just all BS. It was Mike Horner trying to intimidate me from way back then, which is what led to this fight. What led to this fight was essentially 3 years of frustrating Horner with my anti-corruption kind of work. So he calls the journalists, I guess, and he tells them, hey, don't cover this story. And they don't cover it. So Positively Osceola didn't do it. Now, when Mike Horner made these allegations against me, who was there to cover it? Positively Osceola. Positively Osceola was in the camp. When they voted to censure me over this, Positively Osceola had a camera right then. They were there. They don't come to school board meetings, but there they were, right there with a camera, waiting to get this on camera, and they put the story out. But they didn't do a story on them. So Keith Roden, the guy who runs Positively Osceola, I say, hey, so where's the Mike Horner story? Oh, well, I think enough has been said about that and whatever. Come on.
Every other news outlet in Central Florida covered this.
But now we think enough people already did. No, he did. Why is he not doing it? Why is he not putting out that story? It should be out. That's news, right? And they can't say, oh, well, we only put positive stuff. Because when Julius, I wonder, did they cover Julius's thing?
Yeah, I believe they did.
I believe they did. But Horner, who got, I speculate that he got them those contracts, right? Because they're a surrogate. For these county commissioners and for Mike Horner.
Yeah, they are on the payroll.
Yeah, and the same with some other of these bad actors in town who have their crappy organizations and they're surrogates for him. And now then there's people on Facebook now that are basically defending Horner, and there's a group. It's a few group of people that are involved in this conversation online. So number one, there's the people that support Horner because they're friends with him, they're family friends with him. They're whatever. They're his sister, his brother, whatever. I guess the guy that was servicing him at the brothel. I don't know. Then there's the people who they gain from the corruption. Yeah. Right? They gain from the corruption. They send out their surrogates. Hey, we need Mike in there. This is how we make money. We need you to go up there and protect Mike because that's how we bread. That's who butters our bread. And then there's just people who maybe they don't like me. They just don't like me. They don't like that I've been outspoken or whatever.
And then
there's anti-Johns, right? The vast majority of those anti-Johns are people who dye their hair blue, right? In other words, Democrats, right? They're just Democrats. They hate me. They don't like the fact that I'm a right-leaning guy. Those are the people, right? So it's either people who were involved or have been decimated by my anti-corruption stance. It's people who love Mike Horner for whatever reason. He was a good paying customer at the brothel. Or number three, it's people that are Democrats. And those are the people who are defending Mike Horner. So it's been...
well, John, I did want to say that I noticed some people that I know that are not on the take of Mike Horner defending him sort of and saying things like you instigated him, that you had it coming. And the thing I want to say about that is what reality do these people live in?
Well, let's talk about that.
Especially those people that I know that are not on the take. What reality do you live in that it's okay that if someone feels that you provoked them, that it's okay for them to come and rough you up just because they felt that way? And making an assumption that John was antagonizing Horner. I mean, we heard from John. His side of the story is that he was antagonized from the moment he got there by Horner. Told to leave, told to get out. So for everyone to assume, and that's what you're doing, you're making an assumption that John was going to antagonize Horner, and that's why Horner roughed him up and got in his face. You know what they say about assume and making assumptions. You don't know what John was going to say. Nobody knows. Only he knows. And Horner definitely didn't know. He definitely didn't know. But he decided after John uttered 4 words out of his mouth to slam his hands on the table, jump and get in his face. So, I mean...
Well, here's the bottom line. I think that it's a good point that when I walked in there and I laughed because of the irony of him and me being in the first 2 in the room, right? But at any point in time, if I had attacked him, I would have gone to jail. That moment, like I said in a couple of posts,
100%.
There would have been snipers on parapets. There would have been police dogs biting at my ankles. I would have been hit. I would have had like 15 cartoon lumps. From billy clubs.
And you would definitely see a story from Positively.
And Positive, of course. Keith Ronan would have covered that story. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. It would have been all over. I would have been arrested. I would have been They would have walked me from there to the jail, right? So that everybody could get a great shot of it. That's the way it would have happened, and that's not a knock against the police, because those would have been demands of the elected officials. Those would have been demands of the St. Cloud County Council, City Council. That would have been the demand of the council of the county commission, right? They would have demanded.
People have to remember is who was in that room.
Yeah, it was Ricky Booth and all. Basically it was all these guys, and so they're there, right, participating in this, and they would have demanded that I had been arrested and embarrassed, and there was no way I would have been able to drive home that day. So he's here trying to intimidate me. Okay, he's trying to intimidate me, saying, "Get out of here! You don't belong here. We don't want you here. We don't." All those things. He's trying to intimidate me. So I sat down in front of him because, number one, I'm deaf. All right, I have to sit in the front. I was hoping that I would get that front seat with Andrew Bain. And number two, I'm not going to let some guy who goes to a gay brothel intimidate me into not going wherever I want. I'm not going to allow it to happen. He's not going to intimidate. I'm going to sit where I deserve to sit. I deserve to be able to go there. I was invited. To the event. I had a right to and a reason to be there. I had no idea that Mike Warner was going to be there. So hell yeah, I'm going to go there. And I'm not going to let some gay brothel customer come and intimidate me. It's just not going to happen. So he got up. I started filming that video, right? And when he gets up, I knew he was going to end up going to jail at some point because I knew he was coming to get my phone. I knew he was coming. He jumped up. I could see, because his face was like that demonic, contorting, kind of crazy. He was mad. He was mad. And I don't mean mad like angry. I mean mad isn't crazy. And he came out and it all happened. And so this guy, he was reacting to 3 years of frustration, not a conversation or not any one act by me that morning or that afternoon. It was all about the 3 years of fighting and exposing what he's been doing in Osceola County. Yeah. That's what led to that fight. And so anybody who says that I instigated it, but I instigated it 3 years ago when I got elected, and I didn't bend the knee to him. That's what instigated that fight.
Yeah. And I just have this to say, John, to the people that I know, that know me, that I know that you know better, that you know what's going on. Shame on you if you're defending Mike Horner right now. This man is the kingpin. Like I've said before, he is the man. He is the one who helps to fund and promote every bad politician that's come along, that sold small town life down the river in St. Cloud and brought about this center place of urban dreams that these people have
that they benefit from, not you.
Absolutely. That have the developers' pockets. They have their hand in the developers' pockets, taking that money, allowing these people to run roughshod throughout St. Cloud. If you want to look at small town life and where it went in St. Cloud and where it went wrong, this is the man who helped put these politicians in place that have made it happen. So don't forget that. Don't defend this man. He doesn't deserve your defense. He certainly doesn't need it. You see that mugshot, you see his arrogance on full display in that mugshot. And just don't defend him, please.
He looks like a white Bill Cosby in that picture.
I'm like, why are you defending him? I get it if you don't like John. You know what I mean? I know that. I have friends that don't like John. You know what I mean?
Who doesn't like me? What's not to like?
I know a few people who just like.
I know a lot of people that don't like me.
Well, yeah, I know you do. But don't defend this man.
Yeah, it's sickening that anybody would defend him being at the school district even. There was some guy who said he did a great job. Some guy went online and literally said, this guy's been doing a great job in Osceola County. What? He's an embarrassment to Osceola County.
What planet are you on? I mean, geez, just Google the man's name and you'll learn a little bit about him and his past, all right? Then look at your surroundings. Look at the traffic you sit in every day. Look at all the development that just keeps popping up. All these houses just keep popping up. And then look at that mugshot. And that's the man you need to look at and thank for everything that's going on. All right, that's the show, John.
Man, woo! We went late. It's 9:30. We went an hour and a half. But, we're also several days late. We were supposed to do the shows earlier a couple days ago. So good reason to be late. Thank you so much please like and share. So listen, I think this may be good news. I don't know. We think that the throttling that we've been getting from Facebook may be incrementally being opened.
Good.
So we really appreciate you sticking with us, watching, the people who always watch. Thank you so much.
The
we really
election's
appreciate
in full
it.
swing. They have the bigger fish to fry right now.
Yeah, that's probably true. So, but we appreciate you. We appreciate your sticking with us. Watch and like the show. Please share it with your friends. Share it with people within the community, and also participate. Let us know what we got wrong, what we got right, and be part. So
yeah, definitely. And there will be no unsanctioned next week. We will be taking 1 week off. We'll be back the following week with America and Florida. And John needs to recharge his batteries. I need to recharge mine. And we'll be bringing you something new with the new shows.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Awesome. So thank you. God bless you. We'll see you in about 10 days. Have a great week while Tom is on vacation and eating good food and while I'm recharging my battery. So thank you. God bless you. Have a great night. Like and share the show. And like him. Oh, here's one thing I wanted to say. Oh, what was it? Dang, it just went in my mind and it escaped me. We're going to put a link in the bottom. There's a petition going around, not a petition made by me, but there's a petition
from Osceola
Action Committee, and we're going to put that link. It's to get rid of Mike Horner as the lobbyist for Osceola County. We think it's just. What he's done is too much. The guy is, when you're so arrogant that you can start putting your hands on people, when you think that you're that special, there's no place for people like that in government leadership. So let's check that out below and sign that petition. But thank you. God bless you. Have a great night. We'll see you in about 10 days.